Good morning, friends. Today we will see about Gauss law. So some of you have studied about the Gauss law in your 12th. Today we will see about the Gauss law and how to prove the Gauss law and the applications of Gauss law. First, he is the person called Friedrich Gauss who found the Gauss law. Actually, he found in 1835, but it was not published until 1867. After that only it was published. And by this Gauss law only we framed the four Maxwell's equation, which is the backbone of our communication. Before knowing about the Gauss law, we have to know what is electric flux. So electric flux is the rate of flow of electric field through a given area. Electric flux is proportional to the number of electric field lines going through a virtual surface. If you see this diagram, we have taken the virtual surface as a circle. So number of field lines passing, if it is less, we'll have a lesser flux. If we have more field lines passing through a same area circle, then we'll have a larger flux. So flux is proportional to the density of flow. How much field lines flows, to that the flux is proportional. So first part. Second, the flux varies by how the boundary faces the field of flow. What is this? If you see in the first diagram, we can see it is the same circle, but the circle is inclined. When the circle is inclined, the number of lines passing through the inclined circle is less. Since the line direction is same, we are not inclining the line direction. Only the circle is inclined. If you see in the next diagram, the circle is perpendicular and we have more number of lines passing through it. So listen, if the same area, the flux varies by how the boundary faces the direction of flow. This is the second point. Third point, the flux is proportional to the area within the boundary. So if you see the third diagram, we can see we have a smaller circle and a greater circle. If the circle is small, the number of passing also will be little less. If the circle is more, that is big, the number of line passing is also more. So we have 3 points with respect to flux. Flux is proportional to the density of flow. Second thing, the flux varies how the boundary faces the direction of flow. Third thing, the flux is proportional to the area within the boundary. What is electric flux in equation format? We saw a small 3 diagrams similar to that. So it is proportional to the number of lines, so field intensity. It is proportional to the area A. Third thing, it is proportional to the inclination that is given by the cos theta. So if you see, these 3 has been formulated as an equation EA cos theta. Phi is equal to EA cos theta. You can see the diagram also. We have the surface little inclined. E is passing perpendicular to the surface. So E, A and theta. Another one point to be remembered mainly in electric flux is the net electric flux through a closed surface that surrounds no charge is zero. What is the meaning of there? If there is no charge inside a closed surface, the net flux is also zero. No charge in a closed surface, no flux. So remember it. Next, flux density. So we know we saw what is flux. So flux density is per area. So D is equal to epsilon naught into E. We are very familiar with epsilon naught, that is permittivity of free space. Sometimes it is D is equal to epsilon into E. In some mediums, normally in free space, D is equal to epsilon naught into E. What is this diagram? It represents the direction of flow of electric field intensity. If the charge is plus, then the lines will be outwards to the charge. So if you see here, when for plus charge, the direction of flow of electric field is outwards. For minus charge, the direction of flow of electric field is inside. So that is the main thing of plus charge and minus charge. So see this video. We can see from a plus charge, the electric field lines are coming out. Okay. So from a plus charge, the field lines will come out. So from the negative charge, the field lines will, all the field lines will come towards the charge. So see this diagram. From this diagram, we can see the flux. So flux is in a closed surface. We are going to see the flux inside a closed surface. Actually, the flux is the rate of flow of, what is the rate of flow of? Can anyone say it? Rate of flow of electric field. So here, the electric field lines, how much flows in a closed surface will give our flux. So see this diagram. Now the blue color shows the positive charge, so the lines goes outside. So when the positive charge goes out and a negative charge come inside, the electric field lines are moving towards the charge. So wherever the charge moves, the line also moves. When two charge plus and minus come inside, you can see the direction of electric field intensity here. So one more time. See it carefully. You can see when negative charge comes, the direction changes. Next, we can see when both the charges are inside. So next we will see the statement of Gauss law. So I think everyone remembers the Gauss law statement. You have studied in the 12th, most of you. So what is Gauss law? Gauss law is the net electric flux passing through any closed surface is equal to the charge enclosed by that surface. So once again, the net electric flux passing through any closed surface is equal to the charge enclosed by that surface. Okay. Do you everyone remember the equation of Gauss law? Yes. So flux is indicated by the letter psi. So psi is equal to closed surface integral of ds dot ds is equal to charge enclosed, that is equal to q. Next. Now we remember what is Gauss law. The net electric flux passing through any closed surface is equal to the charge enclosed by that surface. So this is the equation of Gauss law. The flux is equal to the surface integral of electric flux density into ds is equal to q. And you have to remember it is a closed integral. Now this equation is called the Gauss law in integral form. The main thing of this Gauss law is a word called as Gaussian surface. The Gauss law is applied in a Gaussian surface only. Then what is Gaussian surface? So let's see about the Gaussian surface. Before that, what is the use of this Gauss law? The Gauss law is a law that describes what an electric field will look like due to a known distribution of electric charge. So it describes what an electric field will look like due to a known distribution of electric charge. So what is this distribution of electric charge? Do you remember? We have two types of distribution. What are the distribution? Discrete charges and continuous charges. So in discrete charge, we'll have n number of charges. So the total charge will be equal to the summation of n number of charges. So charge enclosed must be several point charges. They have several point charges. The total charge will be equal to summation of q into n. In continuous distribution, if we have three continuous distributions, line, surface and volume. In case of line, we have q is equal to line integral of rho l dot dl. What is rho l? Line surface charge density. So in surface charge density, q is equal to surface integral of rho s into ds. Rho s is surface charge density. Third one is volume charge distribution. So in volume charge distribution, q will be equal to volume integral of rho v dot dv. So volume integral of rho v dot dv. And I think you all remember what is dl, ds and dv. We have in different coordinate systems. For cylindrical, we have different dl, ds and dv, and for a spherical different, and for rectangular it is different. I think now you will remember what is dl, ds and dv. Again, one main point here is to calculate q, we no need any closed surface integration. But in Gauss law, while you are doing the Gauss law, you have to remember that is a closed integral. So in Gauss law, it will come closed integral, but in charge, finding the total charge, we don't go for closed integral. So not necessarily to be a closed surface to calculate the total charge. Okay, remember this. Next, we'll go about the Gaussian surface. Why this Gaussian surface? As I told before, Gauss law is applied only in a Gaussian surface. Then what is a Gaussian surface? The surface over which the Gauss law is applied. Both are same, right? Yes. Obviously, such a surface is a closed surface which should satisfy some following conditions. What are the conditions? The first condition is the surface may be irregular but should be sufficiently large so as to enclose the entire charge. So surface must be of any shape, maybe a regular shape or a irregular shape, but it must enclose all the charges. Second thing, the surface is a closed surface. Third, at each point of the surface, the D vector. What is D vector? Electric flux density is either normal or tangential to the surface. The fourth one, the electric flux density D is constant over the surface at which D is normal. Okay. If you see, this is the example of Gaussian surface. So here, if this is the charge, I am going to calculate the electric field intensity or electric flux density for this boundary, this circle boundary. So in this boundary, I am going to calculate. So I am taking a Gaussian surface which may be a regular shape or a irregular shape, but it must cover the entire charge. Okay. So now the same video what we saw before, I think you remember it. From a plus charge, the electric field lines comes out. Now we can see a Gaussian surface covering the full charge. So this is the example for a Gaussian surface. So you can imagine any surface which covers the entire charge. That is called as Gaussian surface. After imagining it, we have to apply the Gauss law inside the Gaussian surface. So this is how we take a Gaussian surface. We can take in any shape. Okay. Now we'll see the proof of Gauss law. To see the proof of Gauss law, we will take a spherical surface enclosing a charge q. Okay. Let R be the radius of the sphere. ds is the differential area on the surface of the sphere. Capital D is electric flux density. Capital E is electric field intensity. This is the diagram. We can see a sphere. We have enclosed by a charge q. Small r is the radius of the sphere. P is the point where you are going to calculate the electric flux density. X, Y, Z are the coordinate systems. So first, we know the electric field intensity of a spherical surface. We have found from the Coulomb's law. So what is the equation? Recall the equation of electric field intensity of a spherical surface. The equation is E vector is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into R square into AR vector. R is the radius of the sphere, Q is the total charge enclosed, AR vector is the direction of propagation. D vector is equal to epsilon naught into E vector. E vector we found from the Coulomb's law. D vector is equal to epsilon naught into E vector. We are going to prove Gauss law. So in Gauss law, remember the equation of Gauss law. Gauss law is equal to surface integration of D vector dot ds is equal to Q. So we need the closed surface integral of D vector dot ds. So first step is to find D vector. D vector is equal to epsilon naught into E vector. We are taking in the free space. In case it is any medium, we have to take epsilon into E vector. So I have multiplied epsilon naught with the E. So here I have multiplied epsilon naught. Epsilon naught will get cancelled. This and this will get cancelled. So remaining term D vector will be equal to Q 4 pi R square into AR vector. Now you found D. Next, what is the surface? Remember, we are proving Gauss law. We have to find LHS and RHS. So in LHS, what is the surface integral of D vector dot ds? So take dot product of ds on both the sides. D vector dot ds will be equal to Q by 4 pi R square AR vector into ds. Now this AR vector dot ds, both are vector. In case of vector, if you see ds vector will be also in the direction of propagation. So we can write ds vector is equal to modulus of ds vector into AR vector. Since AR is the direction of propagation, so we can write ds into AR vector. So substitute above, we will get d vector dot ds is equal to q 4 pi r square AR vector dot ds into AR vector. AR vector into AR vector will be equal to vector into vector, it's 1. So AR vector dot AR vector is equal to 1. So remaining will be q by 4 pi r square into ds. So again, what is the step? Remember Gauss law, we are taking the LHS. So surface integral of d vector dot ds. So taking the surface integral on both the sides. So for the previous equation, take surface integral on both the sides. So we are taking the closed surface integral d vector dot ds is equal to closed surface integral q by 4 pi r square into ds. Now if you see this equation, in this equation q is a constant. Again 4 pi r square, all these term is also a constant. Now we don't integrate constants. So when you integrate constants, you can take that as a outside. So we will get q by 4 pi r square outside the constant, the surface integral of ds. What is surface integral of ds of a sphere? Surface integral means it's a full area. So what is the area of a sphere? 4 pi r square. So area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. So substitute in the above equation. 4 pi r square will get cancel. This and this will get cancelled. After that, only the remaining will be D. So, thus we have proved the Gauss law. Surface integral of d vector dot ds is equal to q. And this is very important derivation, the proof of Gauss law. Mostly it is asked is what is Gauss law? Give its proof. So when it's proof, you have to write this small derivation. What are the limitations of Gauss law? First thing, it cannot be applied on a non-Gaussian surface. Second, it can be applied only if the surface encloses the volume completely. For partial volume, we cannot find it. So, I have to find for it's a full volume. Third one, it can be applied for only for symmetrical charge distribution. What is symmetrical charge distribution? If we divide into two equal half, left side must be equal to the right side charge. Example for symmetry is a human body. Whatever there in the right side of a human will be there in the left side. So symmetrical charge distribution. So it's the limitations of Gauss law. What is the applications of Gauss law? We will see in detail about the applications of Gauss law in our next video. Now we will see just the crisp points of application of Gauss law. First thing, with the Gauss law, if we know the electric flux density or electric field intensity, we can find the total charge. Remember the equation, surface integral of d dot ds is equal to q. So if we know d, we can find q. If we know q, we can find d. So second is, if the knowledge of enclosed charge is known, we can find the electric flux density and electric field intensity. Thank you. Meet you in the next slide of applications of Gauss law. Thank you.